Hi, welcome to another video. I thought I would throw this one out here, put it on my travels channel. I was out doing a drive with care and someone had asked me, can you do a drive from Herne Bay to Reculver? So I've done that. Link up here if you're interested in my drive with care channels. But I find myself here at Reculver Country Park, and so yeah, let's have a look at this, shall we? The thing with this place is that you've got the old church and the towers, but just to the right is a Roman fort. And they've got the sign here. The Roman fort of, how do you say that? Don't do Latin. Regulbium. Regulbium was occupied around AD 200 until the withdrawal of the army from Britain in AD 407. In the 7th century AD, a Christian monastery was built within the ruins of the fort. So there's a depiction of what it actually looked like. Can't imagine where the fort, where the church would be in relation to that. These are very common, aren't they? These trenches around Roman forts. I'll have to take you to the one at Richborough again. So actually, before the sea took its reclaiming of land, the actual Roman fort was all in the middle, and as is the church. So what I thought I'd do is just take us up here, have a little bimble around and take it in. I had heard that you can actually go up the towers, so they've kind of opened it to the public. So if it's open, we'll go in. It is run by the English Heritage. So we've got another sign here, English Heritage sign. Reculver Towers and Roman Fort, just read that about that. The monastic church was subsequently adapted, serving as Reculver's parish church until the 19th century, when coastal erosion led to its demolition. I'm good with English, aren't I? Only its towers were saved as navigational markers. There's an overview. I can pretend I'm a drone, couldn't I? Okay, that's not getting us into the tower, is it? Into the church. St. Mary's Church. It's very pleasant here. You've got the North Sea. Because I think that's what it is. It's not... Because obviously London goes that way, doesn't it? It's not the Thames yet, so it's got to be the North Sea. I'll confirm that on screen. This is famous in terms of being used by the RAF for their testing of the bouncing bomb by Barnes Wallis. And all across the coast here, they took real live footage of the mosquitoes dropping the test bombs. If I can get away with it, I'll put a little clip for you here. But let's walk on to the Roman fort. So actually we're in the centre of the Roman fort because the perimeter was that line. And I'm just wondering, are these old stones part of the Roman fort, or were they part of the demolished church when it crumbled? I want to just walk to the edge of the perimeter here so that I can say I've actually stood in the Roman fort. I think Reculver is a bit of a haven for holidaymakers coming down from London and the like. Certainly when Margate was famous, you've got little canteens and eateries. You've got the visitor centre over there, and in the distance, whether you can see it or not, let's do it that way, you've got Margate in the distance. So this is the perimeter of the Roman fort, going all the way along the edge here. So they would have had troughs down on the edge. However, there's the church. Let's go and have a look at the tower. What we can do is we can walk in, have a look at the towers, have a look at some of the ruins, and then just walk around the edge of it. I can see that there's some people doing some vlogging, so I want to make sure that I don't interrupt them, you know, get in their way of doing their filming. Looks like they've got some good gear as well. And you know what? They'll probably say, "How? You've got a YouTube channel? Oh, can I subscribe?" Generally, you don't. What I've been seeing on YouTube is that you shouldn't be giving your YouTube channel to family, friends, because while they add to the subscriber count, they never watch videos, and it's all about watching videos. Anyway, we've got another signpost here. The fort headquarters. Ahead of you stood the Principia, or headquarters building, the administrative and symbolic centre for the fort, where all military business and ceremony took place. Look at that, all that field. It's a large hall, a basilica, and the commanding officer could assemble the men under his command. The I still can't say that word. Garrisoned by the first cohort of Beatzum, a regiment of 480 men. Look, they even found some old stone tablets on the floor. Movie makers. Right, I'm going to go in here. It's quite an imposing tower, actually, look. Now, I can see that they've got glass in there, so I'm assuming that you can go in. It's always good to have a look at a gravestone, isn't it? Here lieth the body of John Collard, who died August the 4th, 1760, aged 78. Got quite a few of these old ones here, look. 1720. So we're now entering into the church. Let's walk down here and get a view of the church from the tower end. Look at those old stones. So would this have been the high altar? There's like stonework here, and you'd have had the high altar here. Yeah, that looks quite imposing, doesn't it? So while the sea reclaimed the church and it got demolished, they left the towers for navigation purposes. That's what it said. Looks quite lovely out there, doesn't it? So there is a door that potentially leads up into the tower, and you can see above me there is a wooden flooring. I did look on the sign to see if there were any opening times, but I didn't see anything, so I guess it's hit and miss. You come here and take your chances, don't you? Right, let's have a read about the towers. These towers, the remains of the once venerable church of Reculvers, were purchased of the parish by the Corporation of Trinity House of Deptford Strood. Is it Strood? Strond? In the year 1810. And the groins laid down at their expense to protect the cliff on which the church has stood. When the ancient spires were afterwards blown down, the present substitutes were erected. So actually, the original towers came down as well. And these are two substitute towers. And why were they erected? To render the tower still sufficiently conspicuous to be useful to navigation. Captain John Joseph Cotton, Deputy Masters in the year 1819. I'm not very good at reading and narrating, so I wonder if I'm dyslexic. You know, I see all the words jumbled up. I read ahead of myself and then start getting the wrong words. But we can come round to the edge here. So this obviously goes round to the front of the towers. Which you would have seen as I was walking up. Let's walk round to the back of the church here. You've got the groins. There's the groins down there. And there's a platform. But it is remarkable that the old church of 1700s, I guess, is still here, and it can be seen for miles around. As I was driving down here from Herne Bay, and you can see it in the distance, just looming. So I guess you get the right atmosphere It's going to be a great place to do some photography. Yeah, very nice. I think you can cover the whole place in 20 minutes max. Get a vibe for the area and take in the scenery. But that would be about it. Now, as many of you know, I do a bit of acting, and I was trying to come up with some ideas for some shorts. You know, we'd do show reels. And I was watching a show reel example online, and this was way back when. We're talking 10 years ago. There was a program that used to be on in the 80s, maybe the 90s, called Soldier Soldier. And there was one actress in it. She was lovely. And I'll put a picture of her here. I can't remember off the top of my head what her name is. But when I do the video, I'll produce it. But they did a short down here. And just situated down there, there was a guy doing some painting. And he was painting this scene of Reculver. And how does it work? I don't want to do copyright by displaying the whole thing, but he's trying to do his painting and he gets interrupted by this woman, the actress from Soldier Soldier. And she's kind of trying to engage him with conversation, and then he's like, technically the body vibes are, can you leave me alone? I'm doing some painting. And that's when he looks down at his palette, looks up, and she's gone. And then he looks at his picture and he sees the little object. And then he sees the object in the water, just on the edge. And he walks over to it, and it's her. And she's clearly been dead for some time. And it was her ghost that was... That's a really good short. I'll put a link to it up here. Do watch it. It's quite inspiring. Inspiring if you're an actor. It's just really interesting. So, one last look then. We'll get on the footpath here. Reculver Towers. St Mary's Church, originally demolished. Although I'm sure they didn't rebuild that part. And then they rebuilt the towers for navigation. What a lovely scene. I'm going to do a snapshot and see if I can make a nice picture out of that. So there you go, just a short video. I don't keep the Tudor Travels channel, you know, up to date. I don't do enough videos for that channel, but every now and again I'll visit a location and then make a video. You know, I love Steve Marsh and I love Scott Manson for their travel vlogs, but I'm not a travel vlogger, so I'll just come and visit a place and capture it on film. I'll leave that one with you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one sometime. Bye for now.